Chapter 5. Seeds of the Serpent. In this city, even the roots got ops. The city ain't never sleep. Highgardens just rolls over and exhales. Nighttime hit like a blunt dipped in wax. Slow, heavy, sticky. The kind of dark that pressed on your chest like trauma you never unpacked. And in the southern blocks of Trichome Terrace, something was growing again. But it wasn't weed. It was war. Bud Smoke stood on the rooftop of the 420th, a half-abandoned grow-house turned lookout point, holding a scoped burner in one hand and a fat cherry wood blunt in the other. The city sprawled beneath him, buildings glowing green from dispensary neon, blocks lit up with back-alley smoke trades, and in the far north, a new flag rising. A snake, twisting through a cannabis leaf on fire. Mary Jane lit beside him, leaned on the ledge with her Mossberg resting across her thighs. "That's the same tag from the bodies they left on Zaza Lane," she said, eyes locked on the northern skyline. "They ain't just pushing flour, they pushin' fear." Bud didn't blink. "Serpents don't scare me. I grew shit stronger than poison." She took a hit, passed the blunt. "Then we better root up. 'Cause they ain't growing weed. They growing terror." He nodded slowly. "Then let's prune 'em." North Bloom used to be neutral ground, a dead zone where old heads still respected codes. But lately shit been shifting. New cats popping up in fresh gear, custom chains shaped like venomous vines, their bud loud and unfamiliar. And it wasn't just the strain. They were moving with military precision. Bud had seen this before. "Someone got a plug overseas," he told Capo Z in the Doja Den, a speakeasy buried behind a legal smoke shop. "That ain't no backyard hustle. That's cartel structure. Packs, drops, codes, burners, tight like they trained for this." Capo leaned forward, his shoulder still bandaged from the last shootout. "You saying they military?" "I'm saying they funded, and who got money in Highgardens besides me?" Capo's eyes narrowed. "You think it's him?" Bud nodded once. "Black Serpent. He out, and he want his cutback." Black Serpent was a name you didn't say twice unless you was ready to die. Exiled years ago after trying to lace the OG harvests with synthetic fireweed, he'd vanished after a grow house fire that left 12 dead and 3 blocks smoked out. Bud had led that purge. Now the ghost had returned, stronger, darker, and vengeful. Mary Jane pulled up footage from a trap studio raid on Reefer Ridge. 4 bodies found stuffed in a dry bud trimmer, their mouths sewn with stems. On the wall behind them, "His crop or no crop." She stared at the screen, jaw locked. "This ain't just revenge. This is ritual." Bud cracked his neck. "Then we go biblical." 2 nights later, Bud and his core grow crew raided one of Serpent's smaller farms in the Kali Kush Canyons. It was a fortress, fenced in with razor wire and guarded by ex-gang soldiers turned mercs. They moved like tacticians but stank like roaches, dirty and too loud. Bud crept through the irrigation tunnel, camoed in a suit lined with crushed leaf fibers to mask his scent. He carried a silent .22 pistol custom modified to look like a vape pen. The first guard never saw him coming. A clean shot to the throat. No sound. Just gurgle and grass. Mary Jane was on the rooftop by then, popping skulls with that long-nose .38 she called the Bud Whisperer. Each round dipped in THC wax for good measure, so if it didn't kill you, you was high as hell before you bled out. Inside, Capo Z and Hashere cleared the dry rooms, setting charges in each corner. Bud found a vault in the back, temperature-controlled. Inside were jars of Venom G13, the strain Serpent had been flooding Highgardens with. He grabbed a nug, crushed it between his fingers. "Smells like betrayal." They blew the place up. Smoke rose high into the clouds, lit by the city's green glow. Message sent. But as they drove off, a drone hovered nearby. It dropped something into the street right behind their van. A grow box. Inside, a human tongue, wrapped around a joint, and a note. "You clipped a leaf. but I'm the whole damn route. BS. The van swerved off Dank Drive, tires screeching as Bud tossed the grow box out the back like it was laced with anthrax. Capo slammed the brakes near an old hotbox motel, half boarded up, still running as a burner safe house for real smokers. They dipped inside, tension thick as hash. Mary Jane kicked the door shut and racked her Mossberg. That tongue ain't just a threat, it's a signature. Serpent don't just kill, Bud growled. He personalizes the pain. Hashere lit a blunt and muttered, "We in a weed war with a damn poet." Bud stared out the dusty motel blinds, the city's neon greens casting hazy shadows across his jawline. His face was carved with strain, stress, pressure, legacy. Serpent wasn't just another plug, he was a fallen founder. One of the original cultivators of Highgardens. When they banished him years ago, Bud swore to hold the line. But the line was bleeding now. "This ain't business no more," Bud said. "It's lineage." Meanwhile, back on the north side, Black Serpent held court in a place called the Resin Room, a subterranean bunker built beneath a former grow cathedral, lit by grow bulbs shaped like halos. The air buzzed with ozone and kush fog. He stood shirtless, tattoos crawling across his chest like vines, each inked with strain. Names: Sin Mints, Pineapple Reaper, Blood OG. His face was calm, but his eyes held venom. Around him, lieutenants loaded wax-tipped ammo and boxed up crates of that venom G13. "I told them," Serpent whispered, voice a hiss, "you either let the jungle grow or you get choked out by it." One of his soldiers, a banger named Stank Rilla, asked, "You want me to hit Bud's main farm?" Serpent lit a blunt rolled in snakeskin paper. "Nah," he said. "I want him to hit me. Let him think he's striking first." Stank blinked. "Set him up?" Serpent grinned. "I want Bud Smoke to walk into the garden and realize every root's mine." Back at the Terp Temple, Bud called in every surviving OG from the old grow wars. They circled around a long wooden table stained with years of resin and ash. Names like Uncle Firebag, Breezy Dank, Moldy Slim, and Queen Sativa sat in silence as Bud unrolled the parchment map of Highgardens. He pointed at the north side. "They movin' through tunnels," he said. "Grow tunnels we abandoned after the Scissorp floods of '09. "Thought those was collapsed," said Uncle Firebag. "Serpent's digging 'em out," Mary Jane replied. "And now he got shooters popping out of soil like fucking gophers." Breezy Dank slammed her fist. "We should have burned his name from the books when we had the chance." Bud's jaw tightened. "Now we burn his empire." They planned the next strike, hit one of the underground clone cathedrals being used to breed the next-gen venom cushlings. If those hit the street, Bud's name would vanish under a tidal wave of toxic gas weed, but they weren't ready for what came next, because Serpent had already planted seeds inside their circle. 2 days later, during the raid on the clone cathedral, Hashere turned. In the middle of the shootout, she pulled her MAC-11 and lit up 2 of Bud's men point blank. Blood sprayed across nutrient tanks. Bud dove behind a soil barrel and shouted, "The fuck?" She smiled sad. "He promised me land. Real soil. Not this war zone you run." Mary Jane cut her down with a headshot. Bud stared at her corpse. "Even the plants betray you when the roots run deep enough," he muttered. They burned the cathedral. But something changed in Bud that day. He stopped smiling, stopped hoping, and started plotting. 3 weeks passed like resin slow burning on an old rig, quiet on the surface, bubbling underneath. Bud went ghost. No drops, no news, no wars. People thought he folded. But in truth, Bud was digging deep, underground. He'd found blueprints from the original City of Strain's dig site, the network of ancient grow bunkers used during the weed prohibition era in Highgardens, back when even rolling a blunt could get you locked for 10. These tunnels ran beneath every major block, forgotten, unclaimed, until now. With help from Queen Sativa's tunnel crew, Bud converted them into an ambush pipeline, Smuggling routes, flame zones, collapse switches. Every tunnel was laced with sensors, tripwires, THC gas bombs, and collapsible ceilings built from retired dispensary safes. He named it the Root Trap. Black Serpent's ego had grown louder than his product. He hit Trim-Top Towers, Gelato Gulch, and even smoked a crew at Cherry Pie Crossing. His soldiers got cocky, loud on socials, tossing packs in front of murals with number Venom G13 tagged under blood-dripping snakes. It was bait. Bud let him post, let him flex, let him walk straight into the trap. The night of the final assault, Serpent's convoy of 9 black SUVs rolled into Budlandia, Bud's original grow district. It looked quiet. Too quiet. Mary Jane was watching from 2 blocks up, posted in the steeple of an abandoned hot-leaf church, sniper scope gleaming with revenge. Capo Z was under the street with the Root Trap trigger. Queen Sativa and her tunnel crew held the exit ends with firebombs. Bud waited on the street. Alone. Hood up. Smoke swirling from a blunt rolled with his legendary one-hit-a-quitta strain. The convoy stopped. Doors opened. Serpent stepped out, gold grill gleaming. "You suicidal or just high, Bud?" Bud smiled. "High enough to send you to hell comfortably." Serpent snapped his fingers. Guns raised. Bud raised his own and dropped it. The street lit green. Capo hit the trigger. Boom! The Root Trap collapsed. Every SUV, every Merc, every shooter fell 20 feet into a sealed gas-laced chamber. From above, THC vapor hissed in. Cannabinoid flame flooded the shaft. Screams muffled. Serpent's voice last heard, echoing upward. "I built this city!" Bud leaned over the smoking crack in the earth. "Then die with it." He dropped his blunt in, lit the last of the gas. Whoomp! Silence. Then thunder. By dawn, word spread like pollen in summer. Black Serpent was gone, vaporized, cremated in the veins of Highgardens' oldest roots. Bud Smoke stood on top of Sticky Greens, his rebuilt flagship dispensary renamed The Last Leaf. A line wrapped around 3 blocks, packs sold in silence. Everyone wore green. Inside, Mary Jane lit one with him, watching the sunrise. "You really did it," she said. He exhaled. "No," Bud replied. "We just weeded the garden. Now, we grow something real."